But 75 million this week, 75 million is a pretty big number. What's happening with XRP? Look at that, 75 million. And I feel like a lot of whales actually bought XRP at this price point, like even $3. It is kind of crazy to me that the whales are still buying at $3 because, you know, it shows you that they are confident it's going to go up. A lot of the whales have been selling and cashing out, but a small minority of these whales are coming back.
You know, XRP has been very consistent as the week has progressed. And of course, a consistent theme across the market has been some red. We've seen long leverage liquidations. We've seen some cooling in general in anticipation of Jerome Powell speaking today, which by the time this comes out, he will have spoke already. But what I will say here is we're seeing a little bit of profit taking in terms of XRP that we have not seen in a while. Now, what is interesting about this is this taking place usually leads us to some actual bounces happening. And I want to show you guys this. We're also seeing something else indicating a potential bounce for XRP here as well. So if you guys are new or haven't already, show your support for the channel down below. Hit that subscribe button, that bell, it's free to do. It'll keep you updated anytime there's new.
So yeah, the markets right now, XRP is trying to test new highs, basically.
Content live here on the channel. So XRP has just continued to ride this trend, this bottom of our right angle broadening descending wedge, and you guys can see that we tried to hold up right about our 50-day moving average. Didn't hold, unfortunately. We tried to bounce off of our 618 line, did not hold, unfortunately. So here we sit, just tapping the bottom of this. Now at some point, I'm convinced we're going to get a more aggressive move to the upside. I'm not saying that's today. I think
the issue with XRP right now, it cannot push to 3.66 yet. That's the big issue I'm seeing with it. It's trying to push for 3.66. It's not even close, you know, and it's fighting between the bears selling who bought XRP very cheap and the new buyers of XRP whales who want to buy big.
Now there's a lot of bearishness priced in for Jerome Powell speaking today, which is kind of odd because he does not tend to really leak anything or expose any of that sentiment or anything like that. He tends to play things pretty close to the vest. So I think the market is kind of overreacting to a big nothing burger. And I believe that next week is likely to be a lot better than this week. Now, this isn't a guarantee or financial advice or anything like that. I will say during this time, we have seen a lot of long leverage liquidations.
I feel like also this past 3 weeks or like 3 months is going to be more important than the last 9 months. At least historically speaking. These 3 months will be more important for XRP than the previous 9 months. So mark my words, guys, and I know I could be called crazy because XRP already went up so much. But again, this is going to be the most detrimental also for crypto for the next 3 years. It's going to set up crypto for the next 3 years.
Excuse me, taking place obviously for XRP and the crypto market in general. We can see right now there was actually $10.5 million worth of long leverage liquidations over the last 24 hours just on XRP alone. And what we're seeing is the shorts just continue to pile on top of this. We're now still at
for crypto for the next 3 years.
Or I'm sorry, 6.5% imbalance to the short side. That has been a very recurring theme here. Now, what I will say is that XRP is also building a little bit. Oh, that's not the right button.
I feel like it's building up like its support level as well right now at these prices. Is that correct until it goes up? It's still building up to its support level on the people holding.
This would be a great spot for BTC to bounce. We're already seeing Ethereum trying to bounce here as well. And what, in fact, we're seeing are some signs that we may, in fact, see a bounce here. In fact, Ollie Charts is actually pointing to this TD sequential flipping to buy. That tends to be a good indicator of a bounce. So we'll see if that ends up holding up, if we can get a little bit of momentum here in terms of price. But something I wanted to show you guys for XRP is something that we do not see that often. And when we look at this weekly exchange flows for XRP, we are actually having a green week, meaning that we are seeing a lot of XRP flowing to exchanges. So for example, this week alone, we've seen $74 million worth of XRP flow back to exchanges. It is the first exchange inflow week we have seen since all the way back on March 16th. Now, excuse me, man, I have something in my throat. What we need to remember here is when we have these weeks of exchange inflows, they tend to turn into large outflow weeks following that. And the reason why is during this time when we get these dips, when we see these retracements in price, you see a lot of accumulation from whales and large entities in the space.
So yeah, the whales are selling because he's basically saying when the prices go up, the other prices also go down. But with the ETFs, this number of inflows is going to way increase potentially. We're talking a lot about inflows. The outflows will potentially decrease because the whales are just like changing hands, right? So what's happening in the market right now is a lot of these whales are cashing out what they've been waiting for 3 years, selling to others. And with the XRP ETFs, there's going to be a lot of new buyers potentially, just like what happened with Bitcoin and Ethereum. And you're going to see, the major potential we're looking for is basically new investors coming in, the retail. This is what we've been waiting for XRP.
Been very heavily overblown. I think a lot of bearish sentiment has just kind of compounded and caused us to move down in terms of price. And eventually that loses steam because there are only so many people that are willing to unload their assets at this time. Most people are under the assumption that the top is not in. I'm one of those people. I don't think we're anywhere close to this yet. We have not seen.
At least the markets don't show we're at the top, so it's looking nice for sure. Like the markets are nowhere near the top, at least the market indicators, and that's what the U.S. government. If the U.S. government says there's nothing to be afraid of, we're bullish, then I'm gonna believe the U.S. government, and that's what the U.S. government is doing right now. It's being bullish on crypto.